Some surprising new guidance today from health officials about peanut allergies. Experts now say you should give some peanuts to your babies. To help explain more about this big change is our medical expert, Dr. Larry Burchett. Dr. Larry, thanks so much for joining us this afternoon. All right, so previously we were told to keep peanuts and peanut products away from kids until they're 3 if there's a risk of allergies. Well, now parents being told they should give their babies peanuts. Why the change?
Yeah, very different. It starts with this study in February of 2015 where researchers noticed an observation that in Israel, where they give their kids peanuts and peanut butter earlier, they almost had 25 times less allergies. Just an observation, so they did a study that was pretty convincing. 600 kids, and they didn't give peanuts to a certain group of those kids. And then the other kids got peanuts or peanut butter 3 times a week. And the kids without any had an increase almost 5 or 6 times risk for peanut allergies than the ones who didn't. And that was 2 years ago. So that study came out, and doctors and parents in the U.S. were like, well, what do we do with that? Is this a good study? Should we actually base practice on this? So we put together a bunch of experts in this country from the American Academy of Pediatricians, family physicians, immunologists, and those guys just released their statement today saying, you know what, we actually do recommend that for some infants to give them peanuts as early as 4 to 6 months.
Yeah, and Dr. Larry, what's the rationale here? Is it so that you can sort of build up the immune system so that you can kind of train it?
Yeah, exactly. We used to be afraid that if you exposed them, it would trigger an immune response that would lead to an allergy. But now we're thinking that the exposure might sensitize and actually provide a protective immune response to peanuts. So we're actually using the immune system, in this case, as we're learning, to our advantage to prevent the allergies instead of cause it.
Yeah, and obviously the idea here is to hopefully have more kids without the peanut allergy, because really having a peanut allergy requires constant vigilance.
Especially if it's severe. There's going to be a spectrum like anything else, but a peanut allergy can be life-threatening and fatal, and you have to be really, really careful. Not just obviously peanuts, but peanut butter in all the forms. So, everything we can do to prevent that, that you can do to prevent that for your kids is worthwhile.
I know, though, that there are a few precautions, though. If you do have a high-risk infant, for example, one that has severe eczema or egg allergy, you might want to do something a little different. Really quickly, can you tell parents who may have those sort of children what they might need to do?
Right, Heather. So they broke it down into 3 groups of recommendations. But if your kid has severe allergies, you might want to get them tested, where they do a little injection in the skin to see if peanuts provoke a response. If it doesn't, then it would be a good idea to expose them early and get that protective benefit. Obviously, if they have the reaction, then you would want to avoid it. On the other end of the spectrum, they said for kids who don't really have eczema or food allergies, you can kind of just do what you want and do what your cultural preference is.
All right, Dr. Larry Burchett, thanks again for your expertise. Big changes for all those parents out there regarding peanuts. Thank you.
Thanks, Heather.